The Discovery Channel's look at the lives and losses of Bering Sea crabbers Deadliest Catch has been packing a punch since it debuted in 2005. Deadliest Catch distinguishes itself from other reality television in that creative editing is rarely necessary. Here are tragedies behind Deadliest Catch. Jake Anderson, the captain of the fishing boat Saga and a staple of Deadliest Catch since 2007, has suffered 2 devastating losses during his tenure on the show. In February 2009, his sister Chelsea Dawn Anderson died of pneumonia at age 37. A year later, his father, Dr. Keith Anderson, vanished. A retired school counselor, Dr. Anderson disappeared during a trip to Snohomish County, Washington. Authorities found his cell phone in the mud near the family home and his truck stuck on a logging road. Anderson's father was not found until 2.5 years later when a hiker spotted his bones just a mile from his truck. Jake Anderson was distraught when his father disappeared because of the approaching 1-year anniversary of Chelsea's death. Earlier, he had expressed concern that his father might have been the victim of foul play, citing blood on Keith's car keys and his missing truck. However, the family also admitted that Keith was addicted to oxycodone, which he often got from a friend he had planned to visit the day he vanished. Jake Harris lost his father, Phil, the immensely popular captain of the Cornelia Marie, in January 2010. That loss came during the 6th season of the show, and Jake, who had often struggled with drugs and was even suspected of doing them on the clock, began to fall apart shortly thereafter. First, he was involved in a hit-and-run accident in Seattle. Then, when sharing a ride home from a Washington casino with 3 new acquaintances, he was robbed and beaten within an inch of his life. Later, he was charged with drug possession and grand theft auto in Phoenix while joyriding with another man's wife. In February 2019, after being stopped by park rangers, he led state troopers on a dangerous chase around rural Washington in an RV. When authorities caught him, they found heroin, a stolen shotgun, and a suspended license. Police booked him for DUI, as well as various drug and weapons charges. A star of seasons 2 and 3 and the captain of the Maverick, Blake Painter was found in his Clatsop County, Oregon home on May 25, 2018, several days after he died of an apparent drug overdose. Authorities were called to the house when one of Painter's friends spotted Painter's body on the kitchen floor. When police entered the home, they were greeted with the terrible sorts of odors you would expect. Near Painter's body lay drug paraphernalia, including a pipe and a metal mint tin holding either heroin or meth, as well as prescription pills. Painter quit Deadliest Catch after season 3. Prior to his death at age 38, he had been arrested in Astoria, Oregon for DUI, heroin possession, reckless driving, and tampering with evidence. A number of vessels have been lost to disaster during the filming of Deadliest Catch, including the Big Valley, the Galaxy, the Ocean Challenger, and the Destination. Perhaps most poignant of these is the sinking of the Destination because it was preventable. The disaster was detailed in the 105th episode of the show titled The Mystery of the FV Destination. The Coast Guard found that the Destination was weighed down with roughly 330,000 pounds of ice. The disaster plunged several of the show's stars, including Sig Hansen and Jake Anderson, into mourning. The ship's crew was apparently under a great deal of pressure, having delayed their crabbing efforts to finish up fishing for cod. Had the Destination's captain, Jeff Hathaway, opted to stop on shore and break up some of the ice that had formed in the crab pots, its 6-member crew might have been saved. The crew of the vessels featured on Deadliest Catch have obviously gotten the most attention, but the behind-the-scenes staff of the show have likewise garnered a few headlines. In September 2016, a 22-year-old production manager, Matthew J. Schneider, was charged with using and selling cocaine. He was caught in a large undercover sting launched by Unalaska police. Schneider, who fled to California, can be heard on police recordings saying that his supervisor sometimes purchased large amounts of cocaine to distribute at Deadliest Catch parties, many of which took place in Dutch Harbor, Alaska. The investigation has not roped in any other members of the show's staff. By far, the sadder case is the story of Joe McMahon, a 25-year-old producer who was shot and killed in front of his parents' house in Pasadena, California, in the early hours of July 24, 2015. Neighbors reported hearing shots being fired and a car speeding away. McMahon's body was found in a neighbor's driveway. Police soon found Brandon Rafipor, 24, in a car nearby McMahon's home, dead of what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police believe Rafipor, who knew McMahon, was the killer, but a motive in the shooting is unknown. In 2010, Captain Phil Harris succumbed to complications from a stroke captured on camera in Season 6. Then, in 2011, just a year after Harris's passing, Time Bandit deckhand Justin Tennyson passed away at age 33 in an Alaskan hotel. The official cause of death was complications from sleep apnea, but police found evidence of possible hard partying from the previous night. According to his relative Eddie Uwekulani, Tennyson was a family man who cherished his kids and loved the wild, boom-and-bust nature of life as a Bering Sea fisherman. Uwekulani also hinted that the pressures of Deadliest Catch fame might have played a role in Tennyson's demise. I don't know if we're all getting too relaxed or enjoying the movie part, but everybody is watching their health now. Sadly, despite that caution, the death of Tony Lara soon followed. Lara had taken over as skipper aboard the Cornelia Marie following the death of his close friend, Captain Phil Harris. In August 2015, Lara was found dead of a heart attack in Sturgis, South Dakota, where he was participating in a local biker rally. Joshua Tell Warner, a crew member of the fishing vessel Wizard, was arrested in May 2010 after a routine traffic stop. Viewers recognized Warner from his work on the show and alerted authorities to his presence in the Midwest. Wanted for 3 armed bank robberies in Eugene, Oregon, Warner was sentenced to 9.5 years. In a press conference about Warner's arrest, Eugene detective Jeff Donica said Warner was to some extent a victim of his own arrogance, saying, "I don't think you can end up on national TV, make a spectacle of yourself, and not end up getting caught for 3 bank robberies." Warner isn't the only Deadliest Catch star to find himself on the wrong end of the law. The aforementioned Jake Harris, son of Captain Phil Harris, has a rap sheet a mile long, and Sig Hansen, captain of the Northwestern, was arrested in May 2017 in Seattle for spitting on an Uber driver. Unlike Warner, Hansen didn't get jail time for the offense, only probation and an order to enter a treatment facility and stop using alcohol for a year. Meanwhile, Sig Hansen's brother Edgar pleaded guilty to sexual assault in July 2018.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, Kevin lost his footing and fell overboard into the icy black waters of the Bering Sea.
Deadliest Catch was a breakout hit for the Discovery Channel when it debuted in April 2005. Since then, it has garnered 16 Emmys and inspired countless other rough-around-the-edges reality shows like History Channel's Ice Road Truckers and Axemen. Why then would the Discovery Channel decide to sue some of the biggest stars of one of their most popular shows? Because those stars, the Hillstrand brothers, allegedly failed to honor their Deadliest Catch contracts by filming a spin-off called Alaskan Monster Hunt: Hillstranded. In late summer 2010, the Discovery Channel sued Jonathan and Andy Hillstrand for $3 million, claiming they skipped photo shoots and interviews to work on Hillstranded. The brothers were famous for their hard work and antics aboard the Time Bandit, skippered by Sig Hansen. All 3 men quit the show in 2010 to protest the lawsuit. A month later, the channel settled with the Hillstrands and Hansen, and the fishermen agreed to return for the next season. But some damage had undoubtedly been done. In 2013, another member of their Time Bandit crew, David Beaver Zielinski, was injured when a firework he was holding exploded in his hand. According to Zielinski, who sued the Hillstrand brothers for $2.7 million, he'd been ordered by Andy Hillstrand to shoot the firework at a rival boat, the Cape Caution. The firework shattered Zielinski's hand and forearm, effectively ending his career as a commercial crabber. During the 2017 trial, Zielinski claimed that Jonathan Hillstrand told him to lie about the cause of his injuries in order to protect himself and his brother, and that members of the Time Bandit crew and the Discovery Channel hid or destroyed evidence. Zielinski was eventually awarded $1.4 million in damages. The Deadliest Catch's newest foe is climate change, which is depleting the supply of all Bering Sea crab species, forcing the fishermen further and further from shore. The dire nature of this problem first became clear in Season 13 when producers and talent alike began to wonder if there would be any action to film. In order to keep crabbers from overfishing, the Alaskan Department of Fish and Game has created a quota system based on an annual survey of the overall health of the crab population. As of 2017, the quota had to be cut in half, meaning Deadliest Catch captains like Sig Hansen could only count on half the income they were used to. Despite the grim realities, Hansen has said that he and his fellow fishermen were determined to press on. The fleet is going to need to go further and deeper. Nobody is going to take away a fisherman's way of life. I can guarantee you that this fleet will not quit, but we're always fearful that this will be our last year. Fishing for Alaskan king crab in the Bering Sea is not actually as dangerous as it gets. That dubious honor goes to Dungeness crab fishing, a less regulated, more reckless profession, and the inspiration behind the Discovery Channel spin-off Deadliest Catch, Dungeon Cove. Dungeon Cove follows 4 families of fishermen who work off the coast of Newport, Oregon, known to many as the Graveyard of the Pacific. Dungeon Cove premiered in September 2016, and already one man has sued his captain for negligence, claiming a lack of training and safety protocol led to his losing full use of one arm. The plaintiff, Nolan Dean, testified that he got his arm caught in a hydraulic lift and was then thrown overboard. The captain in the suit is named Gary the Ripper Ripka, which seems like a pretty bad stroke of luck. One of the more controversial characteristics of reality television is the chance that viewers might watch someone die. This scenario played out in Season 6 of Deadliest Catch, when Captain Phil Harris, skipper of the Cornelia Marie, had a massive stroke on deck while offloading snow crabs on St. George Island, Alaska. According to Phil's son Josh, his father wanted the cameras to keep rolling while he struggled to move and communicate. Following the stroke, he was transported to an Anchorage hospital where he died a week later of pulmonary embolism. The camera crews were at the hospital too, capturing Harris's final moments and his family as they dealt with the shock. Jonathan Hillstrand, co-captain of the Time Bandit, wasn't sure he could watch the emotional episode. "We're not characters, we're real people," he told the Los Angeles Times. Harris's death was devastating not only to his family and friends, but to fans of the show who had grown to love the chain-smoking, tattooed fisherman's no-nonsense approach to work and life. Whether Deadliest Catch regained its footing after Captain Phil's death is a matter of opinion. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite TV shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.